today's class I totally spent for this non-dimensional, prominent non-dimensional or dimensionless numbers used in fluid mechanics. And what is the application of this or relevant application fields or areas in which these numbers are applicable, that also we'll discuss. Okay, so the first one is, as I told you already, that is Reynolds number. We know it, but just I want you to recollect. So Reynolds number is actually the ratio of inertia force acting on the fluid to the viscous force. And F inertia is Fi, and then F viscous. Let me write Fv. So every non-dimensional number we are going to consider now. So inertia force is a part of it. So inertia force Fi, this is actually equal and opposite to the accelerating force. That is, its magnitude is mass into acceleration. So m into a, and this is of the order of, you can consider this Fi, gets an expression for Fi in terms of the density, area, velocity, area of section of flow, then velocity, etc. So you can write like that, and in a dimensional form of that. That's so you have mass. You can write rho into volume. So rho into volume. So Fi is of the order of now. So rather than using the absolute quantities, just I want to use the dimensional form of that. So mass is actually density into volume. So rho into volume will be what? Volume is actually dimension wise, it is linear dimension cube, right? So area into length. So you can write A into L also. So otherwise L into L raised to 3. Okay, that is mass. And then for the accelerations, it's velocity over time. So change in velocity over time. So I can represent by V by T. See the dimensional form of it. That's why I just removed the equal to sign from there. So Fi is now of the order of rho into. See this L cube, so that you can write actually L square into L, because one L square is that is area, then into L, then into V divided by T. V divided by T, so that I can write L by T now. Again L by T, so that is having the dimension of velocity. So therefore it is Fi, inertia force. Fi is inertia force, that is of the order of rho L square, then L by T into V. L by T into V. L by T is also V. So therefore V into V. Okay. So basically the dimension L by T we use for the velocity. Velocity V. So therefore rho L square V into V, that is V square. So either you can use this one or you can introduce area flow. So Fi is of the order of rho into A into V square. So don't forget this aspect. So what we are going to use is hereafter for inertia force, we will use this dimensional form, either rho L square V square or rho A V square. So viscous force will be, that is a viscous resistance, force due to the viscosity. Viscous resistance actually is the shear resistance, or you can say shear force. Shear force actually. So it's nothing but shear force itself. So what you can write is, it is the shear stress into area. So this is shear stress into area. The absolute viscosity multiplied by du by dy. This is a velocity gradient multiplied by area. So now the viscous force is now of the order of this, So what I'm going to write is, now this viscous force Fv, or viscous resistance or shear force acting on the fluid. So Fv, so that is of the order of, now I want the dimensional form of that, each term involved. So mu into, let it be mu, let it be there. Then du by dy, that is the change in velocity by change in distance over the distance normal to the flow direction. So that is a velocity gradient. So you can write that is velocity over time, velocity V or U, whatever you imply. So V divided, let us mark it by V, because in inertia force we have represented velocity by V, the term V. So we'll write this one. Okay, so now it is a mu into V by L. So the force is now of the order of, this is equal to, but this is of the order of Fv is of the order of du by dy V by L into area. So either you can write area or you can write L square. Okay, so this will be mu V A by L. So that will be the substitution you have to make for the viscous force. So therefore Reynolds number here, So that will be rho A V square or rho L square V square. Area can be, area is of the order of L square. So rho A square V square divided by the viscous force is mu into V by L into A. So one velocity will be cancelled, rho LV divided by mu. Okay, so this is it. So this is about Reynolds number that you know very well, rho LV by mu. So this velocity you can write u, or and in the case of boundary layer flow we write free stream velocity u infinity and all. Okay, so rho LV by mu. But L is important thing is V is the flow velocity, V is flow velocity, and the L is the characteristic length. Characteristic length, that's important. Characteristic length of the problem. So in the fluid flow context, whichever prominent characteristic length, so that you have to take, that you should introduce. For example, pipe flow characteristic length L is equal to the diameter. So L is equal to the diameter, either use capital D or small d. So D is the diameter. Rather than the length of the pipe, the prominent one is the characteristic length for pipeline flow is diameter. Boundary layer flow, the length in the flow direction that is to be considered. For example, when you consider the flow over a flat plate in a certain direction, say X direction, so the distance in the X direction, that is the length of the plate, has to be considered. So the direction along which the flow proceeds, that has to be taken as the characteristic length. Okay, so RE, and now again, this Reynolds number can be written as, this mu by rho, absolute viscosity divided by mass density is equal to kinematic viscosity. So this is nu, Greek letter nu, which we know already. So this is kinematic viscosity. So if you make use of that in the expression for the Reynolds number will become, that rho by mu. So that rho can be brought to the denominator, it will become mu by rho. And in that case, you can write L into velocity, characteristic length into velocity divided by kinematic viscosity. So this also can be made use of. So characteristic length into flow velocity divided by the kinematic viscosity of the fluid. Okay, so these expressions are important for us. Application. Actually, a very important application, actually. So to identify the nature of flow, we will make use of it. So in fluid flow context, but to identify its prominence in the fluid flow problem, what you can do is, see, it is a ratio of inertia force to viscous force. See this one, inertia force to viscous force. Inertia force is the attribute of any type of flow, but viscous force, that is in the denominator. So viscous force. So whenever viscous force is dominant, then Reynolds number can be made use of, can be considered for the flow analysis. So this is Reynolds number is a prominent non-dimensional number, important non-dimensional number in the flow situations, in the fluid flow situations where viscous force is important. So in the flow context where viscous force is significant, Reynolds number is used. So Reynolds number is used in the flow context where viscous force is significant. Example, pipeline flows we'll consider. So flow through pipes, viscous flow through pipes. It's one of the area where you can consider. Second one is, say, Froude number. So this Froude number, let's represent it by, say, FR. This is again a non-dimensional number, doesn't have a unit, because it's basically ratio of forces acting on the fluid. But which are the two forces taken into consideration to get the force ratio which represents Froude number? See, Froude number is, it is a ratio of, it is defined as the ratio of, so inertia force is one item that is there in all the non-dimensional numbers, or most of them. So inertia force, so most of the prominent non-dimensional numbers, inertia force is a part. So inertia force and the ratio of inertia force to gravity force, gravity. So this is what you should remember. But usually this is taken as a square root of it. So when you define that, you can even say it's a square root of. So square root of the ratio of inertia force acting on the fluid to the gravity force involved. So this is Fi, and gravity force, let me write Fg. So Fi is of the order of, so when you write, you write it as in this form. So Fi is of the order of either rho L square V square or rho L square V square or rho A V square. Okay. So this is Fi. But what about Fg? That is gravity force. See, gravity force actually, that is m into g form, mass of fluid multiplied by acceleration due to gravity. So the gravity force acting on it is in the form m into g. What about m? M is mass density into volume. Mass density into volume means what? Rho into L cube dimensionally, then into g. So this is the form. So what we can write is, so dimensionally Fg is of the order of rho L cube g. So this is what you should use. Okay. So if you substitute over here, it's very simple. Square root of this, we are taking this ratio within the square root. So it is rho L square V square divided by Fg is rho L cube g. So what will remain? Rho and rho will be cancelled, and length L square will be cancelled from. One length will be remaining in the denominator. So what you get is square root of velocity square divided by Lg. So V square root of V square in the numerator, that is V itself. Velocity by, then inside in the denominator we have root of Lg. Okay, so this is the number. So hereafter, whenever you have to consider Froude number, so this we will make use of this. Fr is equal to V divided by root of Lg. And again the question is, what is V? That is flow velocity, and L is the characteristic length of the flow problem, and G is the gravitational acceleration, which the mean value we take in SI units as 9.81 meter per second square. So the application field, which are the types of fluid flow problems where this number is made use of? See, gravity force is predominant in open channel flows. So whenever you consider free surface flows, flow through a canal, flow in rivers, okay, etc. So free surface flows, or rather you can call open channel flows. So why do we mention open channel flows are the flow problems or flow count situations where Froude number it can be made use of, because the gravitational force, the gravity force is dominant. So free surface flows where gravity force, gravity effects or gravity forces are predominant or very significant. So this is what you should understand. So we have Euler number now. Euler number, and that is E suffix E, or let's say E suffix U, let me put. Sometimes it's E only, denoted by this one. Okay. See, this Euler number is actually again a ratio of inertia force to some other force. Which is that force under consideration? That is pressure force in this case. That is pressure force to inertia force. It is a ratio of pressure force to inertia force. So this is a time when you have inertia force in the denominator. So pressure force by inertia force. So it is taken in the other way also, but the most prominent form is this one. So I prefer, this form, and you can use this form of Euler number wherever applicable. Even if you can find the reciprocal of this one or reciprocal of this one under radical, that you can find in some of the textbooks. Okay, so you can write pressure force by inertia force, that is okay. And what about pressure force? That is, you can say Fp divided by inertia force is Fi, and pressure force is very simple, pressure into area. So pressure into area, so that is it. Pressure force divided by inertia force, we know already it is of the order of rho L square V square or rho A V square. So what do you get? Pressure divided by rho into velocity square. So pressure divided by rho V square form. So this is also used, but in some of the textbooks and all, some literatures, you may find the reciprocal of this, that is rho V square by P, or rather you may find, see, like this also. So you can say, I'll write here, alternate forms available for this Euler number as a reciprocal of the square root of this. So that means square root of, so it will be rho v square by p, so many a times, and v may be taken outside the radical. Then square root of denominator, I'll write p divided by rho. So this alternate form is also made use of sometimes or available in some other literatures, but I prefer this one for you. So p divided by rho v square, that is Euler number. So whenever, in pressurized flow situations, see pressure flow, pressure driven flows, pressure driven. See the earlier one, what we said is Froude number is applicable for free surface flows. That is gravity driven flows. Free surface flow means basically gravity driven flows. But in this case, it is pressure driven flows applicable. So it's applicable wherever the pressure forces are dominant. Pressure driven flows. Example, flow through pipes. See, flow through pipes. Basically, that's a pressure driven flow. So pipe flow is an example for the area where, or the type of problem, fluid flow problem where Euler number can be made use of. Basically, it's a pressure driven flow or pressure forces are dominant. Next one, that is the fourth one. The prominent one in fluid flow problems is Weber number. So Weber number, let me write this one. Okay, W, rather W suffix B or W itself. So Weber number. So it is actually the ratio of, inertia force is involved, but that you can write in the numerator. It is a ratio of inertia force acting on the fluid, inertia force to surface tension force, surface tension force. So definitely, if somebody asks you what is the importance of this Weber number, immediately you can reply this is applicable in the flow context where surface tension force is dominant. So when surface tension force in the flow becomes very important, then Weber number is a prominent non-dimensional number that you can make use of. So inertia force Fi divided by surface tension force F surface tension force. Okay, you can write sigma or Fs, let us say. So what is inertia force that you know already? That is rho S, so rho A V square or rho L square V square. So rho A V square divided by sigma into L. Surface tension is actually, surface tension force is represented by force per unit length. So surface tension multiplied by the length of the boundary, length of the surface boundary, that is surface tension force, sigma into L. Okay, so what do we do? So rho A V square divided by sigma L. And again, you can simplify because rho area can be replaced by this, L square. So rho L square V square. So this is actually rho L square V square divided by sigma into L. Rho is mass density, sigma is the surface tension per unit length, surface tension coefficient. Okay, so rho L V square divided by sigma. See, this is also available in alternate forms in many contexts, So in some literatures, you may find, I'll write here so that there is no confusion, but I prefer you to use, I prefer this expression for you. Sometimes it's written as square root of this expression. Square root of this also, rho L V square divided by sigma, and this can be written as V divided by square root of sigma surface tension coefficient or surface tension force per unit length of the surface boundary, that is sigma divided by rho L, that is in the denominator. Okay, see, this alternate form is also available in some of the literatures. Application, Weber number application, flow problems where surface tension forces, surface tension effects are predominant, are important. For example, what surface tension effects are predominant in what kind of flow situations? See, where flow through small tubes and all, capillary effect. So basically this capillarity is due to surface tension. So you can say capillary flows. See, even flow through small diameter tubes. See, flow through the veins, blood flow through veins. You can say even like this also, blood flow through veins and arteries in human body, veins in human body, because these veins are basically small, just like small diameter tubes, very small, where the surface tension forces are dominant. So blood flow through veins in human beings, final number that is extremely important in aerodynamics. That number is called Mach number. See, Mach number represented by M. So let me tell you what it is. Mach number is actually the ratio of inertia force. See, that is already there in every non-dimensional number which we discussed. Inertia force is a part of that, whether that is in the numerator and denominator. Most of the cases we have taken this in the numerator, but only in the Euler number we have taken inertia force in the denominator. There the pressure force is in the numerator in the case of Euler number. But in this case, Mach number, and again inertia force is in the numerator divided by elastic force. Elastic force due to the compressibility. So where compressibility effects cannot be ignored, but usually taken under root of this. So within the radical. So how do you define that? It is Mach number is the ratio of inertia force to elastic force. So what is inertia force? Fi divided by elastic force. I'll write Fe for time being. F suffix E, then square root of that. And this elastic force, you know, Fe is of the order of, Fe is actually bulk modulus. So it is of the order of bulk modulus into area. Is bulk modulus usually represented by K divided by, in fluid mechanics, bulk modulus is actually the change in pressure divided by volumetric strain. You can write this in the form of dimensionally we can write. Okay, now see inertia force, you know already, that is rho A V square divided by bulk modulus K into area, that is the dimensional form of elastic force. We often call it force due to compressibility also, force due to compressibility. So it is the ratio of inertia force to elastic force acting on the fluid. And what do you get? Square root of, this will be, area will be cancelled, that is rho V square divided by K. But it is available in a very prominent form like this. We make an alteration. We divide both numerator and denominator by the letter rho. So what do you get? Square root of V square divided by K by rho, taking rho to the denominator. So it will become K by rho. See, this K by rho is a very special number, you know, K, this ratio K by rho, this is actually the square of the velocity of sound, C square, where C is velocity of sound in the fluid medium. Velocity of sound. So velocity of sound in the flow medium is taken as C is equal to, so let me write, C is equal to root of K by bulk modulus divided by the density of the fluid. Okay, so therefore, what do you get? See this expression. So what you can write is, this is Mach number. With this we will wind up. Please bear with me for a minute. So Mach number is equal to root of V square. You can write V divided by root of K by rho. So bulk modulus by mass density, that is the velocity of sound in the fluid medium. So what is this? Flow velocity. The ratio means flow velocity divided by the velocity of sound in the flow medium. So flow velocity divided by velocity of sound in the flow medium. So that we'll consider V by C. Okay. So this is Mach number. So you must have heard about we say the aircrafts with Mach number 1, Mach number 2, etc. So normally we say M is less than 1. So we say subsonic flow. And M is equal to 1. So that means the flow velocity is same as the velocity of sound in the flow medium. V and C are equal, and that is sonic flow. And high Mach number flow, M greater than 1. So that is supersonic. Supersonic flow, and extremely high Mach number, you know, for example, M is greater than 5 when you consider motion of rockets and all. So M greater than 5 and all, so that you can say hypersonic. Or when Mach number is between a certain limit in the vicinity of 1, in the vicinity of sonic flow, that is between say 0.8 to 1.2, very critical flow regime in aerodynamics. This is called transonic. Okay, that also you try to remember. Transonic, maybe required later. Okay, so these are see, when you talk about such speed ranges and all, you know, this number is exclusively applied in aerodynamics application, where elastic forces or force due to compressibility cannot be ignored. So application high speed aerodynamics and all. So flow problems associated with aerodynamics and all, this can be used where, you know, elastic forces are, or force due to compressibility compressibility is dominant or important. That means elastic force is important. So aerodynamics and related flow problems. So you can apply this. So we have, in short, today we discussed 5 important non-dimensional numbers: Reynolds number, Froude number, Euler number, Weber number, and Mach number. And the typical applications or 1 or 2 examples for these flow areas where each of these numbers, non-dimensional numbers, are prevalent. That also you should remember. Okay. Okay then. Thank you so much.